Oops. Hey, YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. I'm still trying to get this at like the right height. Oh gosh. How are you doing today, YouTube family? Got different family. We got friends family, YouTube family. Namaste. So I started a little bit later. I found I was rushing to try to finish up my supper, and then I was like, well, I set the time, I can unset the time. So instead of 5:55, it was 6:15. So say hi in the chat. I'm using StreamYard, so if you have a great comment, I can put it right up on the screen. While you're doing that, just saying hi, let me know who's here. Let me close some windows, my love. Let's see. Just so my computer has, I think it helps. Who knows? Let me just close some stuff. Okay. So today, closing a few more and another one. Are you like me that you have like literally maybe 15 tabs open? Okay, back to StreamYard. Hey, namaste goddesses and any guys who are lurking. Hi. It's Coach Viv here, and today, okay, I'm moving some cards away. So get my notes further. Today, I'm going to talk about both Ajna chakra and the crown chakra. So put them in one video. Percival is close by. I don't know if he'll be contributing anything at all to the conversation, but let me know that you're here in the comments or in the live chat. And those of you watching this on the replay, this is a perfect time for me to say it now. If you have questions, please put them in the comment section. Like there's live chat, which is like scrolling while I'm live. But then if you're watching this on the replay, then and you have questions or comments, do put them below. Okay, I will answer them. So how many of us are here? Okay, we're getting started. Say hi. There's a few folks here. Let me know who you are. At least just say hi. Do you have a great comment? What are you interested in terms of the third eye and the crown chakra? And hi, Instagram. Hello. I'm going to wave to somebody on Instagram. So my channel, as you know, I coach mostly midlife goddesses, I say, because I feel like we can be overlooked in media and so on. And it's just my focus of my channel is working with women, teaching them meditation, spirituality, and also just to start, taking risks, the risks that they want to take in their life. And I'll be talking more about that in 2022. Okay, that's going to be something new. So let's jump into Ajna chakra, to the third eye. I've got some tea. Get some chamomile. Listen to me. So if you don't need to sit and watch, if you're antsy or ADD, which I can be at times as well, I understand, just turn up your volume. You can walk around, keep cleaning, doing whatever you need to do. Okay. So Ajna chakra, the third eye. So located here, but within, like in the center of the head. Okay. Hi, Whitney. Hello. Who else is here? YouTube takes a little bit of time, and hi, Instagram. So does Instagram take time to notify people. So my name is Viv Williams, Coach Viv. I am mostly on YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, if you want to come on over to YouTube, that would be great. I am at Yoga Bliss Dance. A lot of meditation videos, a lot of divine feminine, a lot of affirmations, as those of you watching know. So this is the last in a series that I've been doing. I've been going live every single day and talking about the chakras and why they're important. So that's the topic of this video. Why is this particular chakra important? The two we'll be talking about. Okay, so let me know. Do you have any specific ideas about the third eye or the crown chakra? Let me know. And hi, Sandy Diana, 36. Yeah, let me know. Do you have any particular questions, insights, or concerns with either chakra? Okay. So Ajna, the third eye, the famous one. I always mentioned that I loved when Prince came out with, like, I think on one of his, one of his songs, the image was him with these great round glasses, and then there was an eyeglass here for his third eye. I thought it was so cool. Hi, Sandy, Diana. Yeah, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. So yeah, that third eye, those third eye glasses, I thought that was like so witty, really, really cute. So some of you are you're quiet today, and only Whitney has said hi. I can see there's other folks joining. Hey, welcome. So Ajna Chakra. I will talk about the issues of Ajna Chakra a little bit later. But let's start with, okay, so the element is light, right? Because light is how we're able to see, right? How we're able to perceive colors and how we're able to see. So the third eye chakra, Ajna, it means to command or to perceive, to command. And I want to tease that out a little bit, because those are two sort of opposite things that are fascinating, right? So to perceive, the third eye is about clear perception, clear seeing, right? Clear seeing. So you've got your two eyes that see the world, see concrete things, see the cup of tea, see everything around you, the room around you, your hand, sees yourself in the mirror. And then you have Ajna Chakra, which is about seeing the unseen, okay? Seeing the unseen. And so that is why it's an esoteric system. So what are the chakras? Let me just briefly, for those of you who don't know, and again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the chat. Hi, Mary, welcome. So Mary said hi, Whitney said hi. Who else is here? I am late today, so some folks really probably thought I wasn't going to go live. But I'm the type, if I'm alive, if I say I'm going to do it, it's very likely that I will do it, okay? So seeing the unseen, right? Opening up, being able to perceive things that are normally hidden. That is an activated Ajna Chakra. So of course it governs the eyes, right? It governs the eyes the same way we talked about the throat, governed the ears. Okay, so always the area that the chakra is in. So the third eye again is here, so it governs the eyes. Hi, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. It has to do, of course, with intuition. Like that's the primary thing. Like that's the key word, is intuition and clear seeing, as I said. So most of us in life, and I'm putting myself in this as well, we see, actually, there's a lot of proof we see what we expect to see. There is a really, follow me on this, is a really interesting experiment. Some of you may have seen it. They literally, I'm trying to think how they did it. They said something like, try to count how many times the basketball is tossed between people, and you see like 6 people tossing a basketball, right? So they tell your brain that's what's important. And get this, literally somebody in a gorilla suit walks through, people are just throwing the basketball, and nobody, like everybody acts like they don't see this person. Then when they ask the viewers, it was a shocking amount of viewers that did not see anything out of the ordinary. They did not see the person in a gorilla suit walk and kind of dance through. They just didn't see it. Okay, so what does that tell you? It's really scary. It tells you that if you're primed to see something, right? And they were the people they were studying were told your goal is to count how many times the basketball it changes hands. So they were focused. So that focus prevented them from seeing unexpected things. Think about, let that sink in for a second. Hi, if you're just joining, let that sink in. Let that sink in. Sandy, I'm doing really great. I'm doing really great. How are you? So hi, folks on Instagram. I am over on YouTube. If you want to come over to YouTube, you don't have to. It's Yoga Bliss Dance, 3 separate words on YouTube. So yeah, give me, hi, Maristar 86. Give me your thoughts on that story that I just shared about the people not even noticing just not noticing this person in the gorilla suit. They didn't see it. They did not see it. This is a real study about perception, right? So because they were told what to look for and they had a goal and they had no reason to suspect anything also, that's important, right? They weren't in any way primed to expect anything unusual to happen. Like an elephant could have walked through or a pink balloon could have floated by, but they did not. The majority of people didn't even see this person in the gorilla suit. So what does that tell us? Mary, Nancy, what do you think about that? In terms of perception, do we really see or perceive everything that's happening? Do we perceive everything that's happening? I think our eyes see, certainly if it's within our range of vision, but do we perceive it? Okay. So Ajna has to do with clairvoyance, clear seeing. That is the sort of ability that comes with it. One of the abilities is clairvoyance, and also to, as I said, to see the unseen, sort of across time and space. Of course, that's a really advanced state. And of course, it's the pineal gland, as a lot of you may know. There are a lot of, you might want to check out some videos about the pineal gland. Some of it is true. Some of it's like speculation, but it's a very important gland, and it definitely has to do with as far, I think, as science is saying right now, light and dark, and how our whole biorhythm. So it's a very important gland, the pineal gland, and there are different things you can do to, a lot of people talk about how your pineal gland gets calcified and so on. As I said, some of it may be true, some of it not. The main thing is have a healthy, as pure a diet, goddess, as you can maintain. Hi, if you're just joining, we're talking about the Ajna chakra. For all the chakras, even though it's in your energetic body, your physical body, it's meshed, it's all together, right? It's like, I always give this example of picture like a blueprint, like if you saw like a shimmering blueprint, and actually I use a beautiful image for my course, that you just see sort of the energy body, you just see like this blue lines and the colors. And so that's within the physical body. Think of it as the electrical system. This is my take on it. I have not read this particularly anywhere that I can think of. The chakras are like the electrical system of the body. Okay. And so think how important, like electricity is unseen, right? Yet it's creating, I've got this bright light on me. We're on the internet together. So it's very important. Hi, Deej. So we've got Deej, we've got Amara Star, we've got Nancy, Mary, and more. There are more folks here. Some of them are silent. So we're talking about Ajna chakra, the third eye. This is the chakra that everyone wants to activate. Everybody's like, oh, because it's basically like, oh, would I have these like superpowers? All of the chakras have different abilities that open up as they're purified. But there are also what are called knots. They're energetic knots that prevent us from sort of going to some of the upper chakras until we've processed through some of the lower ones. So let's see. So yeah, some of the issues, as you would guess, what do you guys think are some of the issues that might come up with? I want to make this interactive. So in the chat, what do you think are some issues that might be related to the third eye chakra? And I want to take a sip of my chamomile. And there's an herb in here, and I'm going to write down, I will talk about that I talk about it in my course for the third eye chakra, as an herb for the third eye chakra. And I'll talk about that. So I'm just making a note. What do you guys think? What do you think might be some symptoms? Again, not approaching this as I'm not a medical doctor. This isn't medical advice. This is coming from spiritual writings where the ancients made these connections. Okay. So this is esoteric stuff, and use your discernment. That is my disclaimer. So what do you think might be some of the connection if the chakra is here, and I was saying it's linked with governing the eyes, and as I said, it governs the whole area. So what do you guys think? Give me what you think might be. Hi, Corn Conjure. Here, Perceiving intentions. Yeah. Well, any perception. Yes. Perceiving. You know how some people, guys, I thought of a person, which is why sometimes like, oh, she has ADD. That's how we are, right? Like we'll have a thought because thought is so quick, right? Thought is like instantaneous. You can almost, your thought can be around the world in like a split second. Have you ever known those people who they don't get nuance? Okay. They do not get subtlety. This is like a blockage there. Okay. Think about what I'm saying. Like they just don't pick up on hints or like, I don't really want to, or no, I don't really like this, but they're like, oh, you said. They miss the subtext. They miss the nuance. Yes, they don't perceive the subtlety behind things. So yeah, the third eye, that can definitely be an issue. So yeah, perceiving intentions, perceiving what's unseen, what's not stated. Again, think of it almost like, like an autism, like being on the spectrum where it might be very difficult for some people to kind of get subtlety. It just may be hard for them, right? That would be a third eye. So I put things like eye disorders, vision disorders, headaches, and eye strain, anything related to the eyes, and perception. And we'll go on to the crown because they're very close in the same way that the sacral chakra and the root chakra are so close, and often every chakra affects above and below, right? So, but eye troubles, eye strain, vision troubles, though there's another chakra as well linked with vision. Let's see what else. So the pineal gland, clairvoyance, and the crystals, some crystals, I'll just give you three. Lapis lazuli, which I love. It's like it's that deep blue. And that is the color here is indigo. So if you know lapis, it's just like a really beautiful, deep night sky blue. So lapis, quartz, and star sapphire. I love clear quartz. So if you want to work with crystals, clear quartz is really like the basic that you want to have is like clear quartz. The most powerful way to work with this chakra, as with all the chakras, is to work directly, not all this like outside stuff or like, things that are super simple are often not going to be that powerful. Again, I'm just being honest with you. There's lots of videos on YouTube that, you do this, you do that, and boom, your third eye will be instantly open. First of all, you don't want instant opening of any chakra, especially the third eye chakra. Because imagine if you suddenly were able to see, I have a friend, I'll give you an example. I have a dear friend who, and I believe her, she sees like entities, in a space, she'll be able to see them. And I'm like, I don't really... the movie. Remember what it was? What was it? Where they like, I see dead people. Whatever. What was that movie? Oh, I think it was The Sixth Sense. Yes. So she will see different things, right? So imagine if you're like, have no spiritual basis, you have like, you're maybe a little emotionally just normal, but maybe a little instability there, and you suddenly start seeing things. Okay. So you don't, these videos that are like talking about, instantly open your third eye. It's not true. And you don't want that. They're doing that because they want to get 1 million views on their video. Okay. So I'm saying this for those of you who are maybe some of the younger folks, and also, stuff you see in like video games. A lot of video games, they pull from different traditions, right? And they pull stuff and then they weave it into the video game, guys. So I'm just trying to give you, it's more boring, but I'm trying to, closer to the truth, even though it's less exciting. So yeah, you don't want to, and it's not going to happen. Here, I want to talk about my course. In my course, I give safe practices. You're not, and you're not going to meditate for 15 hours a day on a chakra. Like if you did that, if you did anything where you were just excessively doing it, that would not be good. In the same way that you don't want to sit and eat all day, right? Again, somebody sits and eats all day. Food is wonderful. Our body needs food, but do you need to sit and eat most of the day? No, you'll have a problem. In the same way, if you start, 10 hours of meditation on a specific chakra, and you're doing yoga, and you're doing this, and you're fasting, you're gonna that's not gonna be good. And so all that I'm showing in my course is very balanced, and just like a natural progression of energy. Okay, so that's really important. Let me see some of the comments before I go on, and then also check that I've shared what I wanted to share. Yeah, and the trick with that, thank you for sharing, Nancy. The problem is, and this is kind of deep, and I'm going to go open my window again because my light is actually like a sunlight, which I shouldn't be doing for my pineal gland, but I love you guys, so I'm doing this. So let me open a window, okay? Open it from the top. All right, so my friend is perfectly, how can I say it? Like, she's rational. She does not have a mental health issue, but she can see things, right? So here you have like an open third eye chakra. And she's also very, 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 very sensitive. And so I feel that her throat chakra is also like, she is evolved to a certain level. Of course, that can bring problems because, there's a very sensitive to foods. She has to be very careful, like what she eats. She's also the type of person that can be or only around certain types of people, or she's going to get imbalanced. Just like she needs to be around people who are pretty high vibration, and she is a little bit more introverted. And that's often people who are very spiritual. It doesn't have to be. I don't think that it has to be, but anyway, so there's a difference. What I was going to say is, in our culture, if somebody's seeing things, we almost automatically think they have a mental problem. Now, they may have a mental problem, but our culture, unlike many others, in fact, many, many other cultures, there's a line for them between, they would, is this mystical, or is this truly somebody who has mental health? And they can realize both, but they also give a spectrum of people who they feel are gifted or are in touch with God, right? And we don't really have that in the West. I mean, we really don't. If you see things, you're like, people are like, you're crazy. So that's the end of that story. I'm going to wave to some folks on Instagram. I mean, I'm not being like flippant, but really just pointing out, I think it is a limitation in our society. There are a few organizations, or even I think therapists, who work with people who may be having like a spiritual crisis, for example. But in my course, Chakra Soul Alchemy, which is enrolling right now, and I would love to see you on the inside of that. And the link, I'm going to pop it up here. This is part of a series to just highlight the chakras, and why they're important. So why this is important is, imagine having the ability to really perceive clearly, where you're not perceiving just like that example I gave about the gorilla walking through. You're able to really perceive what's going on, not what you believe is going on, not just what you're told is going on, not the conspiracy theory that you believe, but what is actually happening. Okay? So think of how profound that would be. And that is, one of the gifts of, hang on, let me go back to comments, of having a awakened third eye chakra. And it's not like you're not going to walk around like that all the time. That would be very rare. But we're talking about just deepening your intuition. And that's where I'm working with folks with, like, just where what I teach, the practices, the meditations, the mudra. Mudras are like sacred hand positions that affect our energy system, the journaling that I teach in the course, the affirmations to gently work on this chakra, right? So yeah, we're not trying to like blast you into outer space. Okay. More tea. And then I'm going to take some questions. So get any questions or comments ready. All right. So yeah, any questions on Instagram or comments? So this really, I think this is for folks who are spiritual, who are interested in their spiritual growth. I was actually pulling cards, and I'm going to show you guys. This is a little unusual. I'm going to blend two different things, but I pulled cards on what type of woman, because my course is Chakra Soul Alchemy is aimed at women. And I was like, what type of woman would be interested in this course? And I pulled cards on it. And it's interesting. I got the Lovers reversed. So like I said, this is odd. I'm mixing in two like different genres on YouTube. But I got the Lovers reversed. And then I got the Seven of Wands together. Anybody who's come for a reading, or if you've watched my monthly readings, you blend the meanings and it's like a story. So I feel like the message here is that it could be a woman who this card can read many different ways, right? It can read as like, oh, it's a choice, but also definitely can be like love relationship, intimate relationships. So this together, though, I'm reading it as a woman who would be interested in learning about the chakras through my course, would be someone who is interested in kind of being in a stronger relationship, a stronger understanding of relationships, meaning she might have had difficulty with intimate relationships, and she really wants to be in a more positive, like literally a more positive stance in regards to understanding and fixing like difficult or troubled relationships, like relationship issues, basically. Just say relationship issues. Okay, then I continued on and it would be a woman that wants to work on her inner strength, would be interested in Chakra Soul Alchemy. This is an important card. It's a major arcana card. Hold on, guys. I don't know if, yeah, hold on. The thing I have on the screen is blocking, so I'm going to take it off. Hold on. Yeah, this is a card about, this is a person who is really wanting to tame her own, I would almost say emotions, fears, hang-ups, her own emotional healing, where she is strong enough to literally tame the lion representing her sort of that part of us that's more instinctual and sort of wild. And so I said, tell me more about that strength card. And I got, sorry guys, dyslexic, hold on, got the King of Pentacles. And this tells me that this is a woman who wants to become stronger emotionally, but also is at a point where she is really wanting to work on her financial stability with this King card, the King of Pentacles, representing a part of herself that is able to basically be very financially stable and to have that aspect of life really figured out. So that was interesting. Again, this is when I was looking at what type of woman would be interested in studying and taking my course and taking the program. And actually, it's not just a course because it has a live aspect. So it's a program. It's a course and with a live aspect. And then I got the next card was this card. Now, this card, the Three of Cups, is always about, the basic reading is celebration with friends, spending time with friends, and that's needed. And so I took that as in the course, she would want to have a community, because this card is about community, a community of friends that are supportive and understanding. So in working and learning about the chakras, she would want to meet other women who were also spiritual, who were growing, and possibly, become friends. You might and potentially make lifelong friends because they're like-minded. And then the final card that I got that was on that Three of Cups was this card, which is often read as generosity, giving or receiving. But with this card, I felt it was like to meld them together, generous, kind, caring community. And so I thought that was really interesting, because I think for many of us in various communities, sometimes it's hard to find supportive female friends, because as we know, and this is a stereotype, but it can be, women can feel very competitive with each other on various things, whether it's their appearance or their achievements, but it can just get very emotional. So looking at the cards that Spirit showed me is the woman who would be interested in Chakra Soul Alchemy is looking to understand relationships, especially intimate relationships, is looking to become personally stronger. So got the Strength card, improve her finances, and she is already working on that process, because a king card implies it's coming towards the end of a process, it coming to full completion. So she is working also on being prosperous, and she wants a supportive community where people are generous. And I was like, that's really, really nice. That sounds really good. That all sounds really, really good. So I've got a new comment, and then I'm going to go on to Sahasrara. Okay. And then I have some Japanese sweet potatoes in the oven that I have to take out, and they smell really good right now. Have you ever had Japanese sweet potatoes? They're a little unusual. Let me know if you guys like them. I think they're super good for you, but they taste delicious. Even more delicious than regular sweet potatoes or yams. So I'm baking some right now. So yeah, question. Corn conjure, Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, and thank you, Nancy, for sharing. In fact, Nancy, I'm going to put up a longer comment. I hope you're still here, Nancy, and put up your comment. Okay. Yeah. Well, if there has been a brain injury, that's absolutely like not your fault, and that can absolutely mess with perceptual abilities. Absolutely. Like that's to be expected. So I can imagine that would be a struggle. What I would do then, Nancy, for you, I actually would work more with doing relaxation, and I have couple of relaxation videos on here where you literally, then they never do well. I don't know why, but one of them, I think I messed up the music. There was like a gap, like there's a little gap. And I think, but Nancy, for you having had that issue and the brain injury, do a lot of like relaxation, like yoga type relaxation. And what that means is it's like, if you've ever taken a yoga class, at the end you lay down and you just relax your whole body from head to toe. That's what would be good for you with like your central nervous system and just your healing. So that is what I recommend, Goddess, for you. So yeah, and conjure corn. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Empress Exalted, hi. And the name change. I want to know about the name change. This is Gigi, who was on the live about 2 days ago with me. And she has taken the chakra course. And actually, I should mention, if you have questions, you guys, you can reach out to her. I put her contact. Gigi, was it under the heart chakra? If you go to the heart chakra video, because I don't think I have it. Hang on. I don't think I have her contact that I could pull up, but she can tell you more about the course. She's really inside and out. She really thoroughly knows the course. And, if you have questions, you can actually book a session with her if you're interested in enrolling and you have a question. So Empress Exalted, can you put in the chat, Gigi? Were you Wednesday? Not Wednesday. It was a Heart Chakra Live. Is that where they could look? Because you were here twice. Okay, look under sacral. I think, just look under sacral. I might not have remembered to put her contact info under a third, because I've been going live every day, you guys, and in addition to the other work that I do. So let's go on to Sahasrara. Sahasrara it means 1,000-petaled lotus, but they don't mean literally 1,000. It means almost unlimited. And so you may have seen these diagrams where it literally just picture like a flower petal on top of someone's head, like a flower, and just, petals, just, multiple petals. When I have worked with this chakra, what I have felt, and I always give this example, I had another friend, not the other friend who could see things. This guy could see things too. Okay, two separate friends. One's a guy, one's a girl. And he felt it. He told me, we're talking one day, he felt it like, how a gas stove, I feel it like, how burners on the really fancy gas stoves, have you ever seen them? The burners sit within each other, like restaurant quality, okay? There's a circle and then there's an outer circle. It feels like that to me when I work with this chakra. Like you feel like it feels like this energy, and it is going upward, and it's multiples. My friend, on the other hand, said it felt like one big petal to him. Like he just felt like going up. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So this chakra, it is sort of like the super chakra, meaning there is the thought that you don't really open this chakra. I may disagree with that because I have a real quick anecdote. there's a spiritual group that I was in, and at the time we were doing readings for each other, shamanic work for each other, and someone, I was just giving her my answer, and this is really interesting. I really didn't know, and I wasn't using cards because that's usually how I do divination. And I was just like, "Oh, I got the message that your crown chakra is too open." And she looked at me and she goes, "I've been working on my crown chakra," and I did not know that, you guys. We didn't get to talk. I didn't talk to this particular person often. She was in the group, but I didn't know her at that personal level. She's like, "Oh, I've been working on it." I was like, "Well, I am just getting that it's just too open right now." So that was interesting to me because, as I said, typically when I'm doing intuitive stuff, I do it through card divination. But my intuition is strong, and that was in a shamanic setting. So, oh, okay. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, I'll put that up. So, almost, I would say, don't worry about this chakra too much, is what I'm trying to say. It's like I compared the others to Grand Central Station. This would be like, I don't know, the station of Grand Central Station. I don't know, like Mega Station, divine connection. It is said to be where we connect to spirit. So malfunctions in the esoteric sense would be things like just apathy, the type of depression, because depression, is multiple things being off, but the type of depression where it's like an existential, like, why am I alive and why does life matter? That's sort of a deep existential sadness and disconnection where things just seem meaningless. Like sometimes you can be depressed and you're depressed and you can see other people are still happy, but I'm almost like talking about a kind of depression where it seems like life and everything is just, for everybody, is just like, why are we here kind of thing. I wrote alienation, confusion, that type of depression, apathy. So Sahasrara is the brain and the central nervous system, of course, really crucial. The pituitary gland, the pituitary, and it's understanding. Some people say, well, also it's thoughts. It's beyond thoughts. It's beyond thought. And the sort of height of it would be bliss. If you really tap into this chakra, it's a state of bliss. Now, the rationalist would say, oh yeah, that's just, I have to share this because to me it's so obvious. Oh yeah, that's just a chemical thing, and they're finding, oh yeah, well, you release this chemical and you do feel blissful. And I'm like, how else? We're material beings and we're spiritual beings. So yes, it can be a chemical that basically science is almost figuring out how to artificially create it, is what I'm saying. And then they're like, oh, you see, it's not spiritual. It's just like a physical thing. And I'm like, well, it's as miraculous as you didn't create life. You didn't create hands and eyes, and you didn't, it's still absolutely miraculous and absolutely mystical. If you guys know what I'm saying, it's a little hard to explain, but there are folks who try to explain everything in a material fashion, in a mechanical fashion. So they're like, oh yeah, there is nothing mystical. There is nothing beyond us. And I just think that's absolute BS. And that would be someone where the Sahasrara is like, it's just blocked, where they're just rational, they're cut off from anything that they can't like touch, see, hear, measure. So that would be like a malfunction of that chakra, like the opposite of its highest functioning, where they're just like, this is all that there is. There's nothing else. I don't, and of course you could see how, and if that goes really far, that could lead to depression, the alienation and all that. So just sharing that. Our crown of thorns. Yeah. Share more about that. Magnetite. Yes. You know what? I've heard a little bit about that because there's so much out there. I tend to really stick to what's traditional, but I'm trying to think if I should share a story or not. So Let's say another friend. um, I have known folks who are able to, and I don't know if I'd quite call this telepathy or clairvoyance, because both of those could come in, but they're able to almost know where someone is. They just know. And so it's almost like the way that, they're saying like birds, there's like a magnetic, like literally, you guys, the earth, it has a magnetic, it has magnetic lines on it. And that like birds often are flying and they're guided to some extent by that. Like that's one of the things that scientists think allow, say, a bird to like fly thousands of miles and get to the right place. So yes, I do think humans have that. I think that, I don't know whether it's magnetite, but corn conjure, yes. I have definitely like real people where that's the case, where they have an ability to know where someone is, a sense where they are. And I don't really know. Yeah, what is the name for that particular? Okay, guys. Yeah, I had to wet my throat. So the phrase there would be to know, right? Sahasrara is to know, to truly know, but at the level of like existence. Why are we here? What does it all mean? That would be that level. And of course, you could see how that could be disorienting too, if someone isn't ready for it, if they suddenly like started seeing lights and then like, if they're hearing voices and yada, yada. So that chakra generally only opens if the others have also, opened, and you've sort of just spiritually evolved up to that. So it's not going to tend to just like happen. Having said that, though, the thing that can do is like drugs, like different, like hallucinogenic drugs, right? That's what, when people report like, oh my God, it was like, I saw God, I had this feeling of incredible oneness. So yeah, some drugs can trigger that. In some people, of course, they can also have horrible effects. So I'm not recommending that, because you have you have very little control over that. But ayahuasca is one of those drugs that have been used in traditional cultures and you're working with these chakras. Many people, though, have done ayahuasca improperly or were not ready for it and had bad experiences. I'm just sharing like what I know from another friend. Just call everybody a friend. This is not me. And someone in their family did ayahuasca, but they had also mental health issues. They flew to South America, did ayahuasca, and then literally like the next day they're back in like, let's say, Paris. Now, do you think in a traditional culture you do ayahuasca, then you'd fly to Paris? No, there was a container, meaning you did this. There were men and women there guiding you and like watching you. And if you needed to throw up, a lot of these things cause like upset stomach. They were there to support you. And there were beliefs around it. And it was part of a whole culture. It wasn't something you flew in, tried, and then left, which is what happened to, let's say, to this person. And so that's just a warning. Like, don't try to like force things, guys, And that's, like I said, this person was just like, oh, I'm going to have this experience. And they, they had mental health issues. So, the third eye, you can work with it safely. You can work with the chakras safely, which is what this series has been about. Amethyst and diamond, I wrote down, of course, diamonds. Sahasrara. Interesting, right? So going back to crown, what is that connection with royalty and the crown, right? Setting something on the top of your head and using gems, right? So the gems are powerful, their brilliance, their beauty, their energy, and the crown. And the idea with rulership back in the day, right, was that they were literally the voice of God. So it's interesting, right? And they would be crowned. So, and this is in like the Western tradition. So you can see that there's different ways that this understanding is manifested in cultures, right? So yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Let's see. And the color of Sahasrara is violet. It's a beautiful violet into white, like violet and white. For the third eye, it is an indigo. And the herb I wanted to mention before I take questions and before I close. Hi, we're talking about Ajna and Sahasrara chakras. My name's Viv. And so what I'm drinking is chamomile tea, just regular plain chamomile, but I put in blue vervain. So that is an herb. Ask your doctor, ask a medical professional. That I have in here. I made it though myself, and I do want to thank my teacher. I'm sure she's not watching, but I do want to thank her for that, because one of the things she does is garden. And she gave me some vervain, and I'm from the Bronx, people, so I would just buy an herb, but she taught me how to make like, I guess, what would you just call that? The essence? A tincture. So you guys, I have to tell you a funny story. So it's called a blue vervain, and I'll put it in the chat. It helped a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine who had serious sleep issues, and he's seeing his doctor about it, came to visit me. I made him a cup of chamomile tea, you guys. This is hardcore insomnia I'm talking about, like hardcore, not just like, oh, I can't sleep 1 or 2 nights a week. This has been chronic for my friend. I made him a cup of chamomile tea. Yes, it was plain chamomile, but I put some of my blue vervain in it. He starts yawning, slept really well. So much so the next day we're talking about it. He's like, wait, what did you put in the tea? Like, what was that? So what blue vervain is said to do, again, look it up for yourself, ask your doctor, but it sort of stops the mind from ruminating. I don't know if it's that it builds the central nervous system. Some of them, it's just they calm you in a way that your mind doesn't fly around. And this is, again, it's called blue vervain. But you guys, I have to tell you, so my friend, after I gave him a bottle, because I made a big jar, so I gave him a bottle to take back home with him. And when he ran out of that, he brought some like from Amazon, and he's like, I don't know, like it's theirs was light in color. Mine literally looked like brown, like deep brown. And so the joke now is, he's like, Viv, I think you like, because I'm like, yeah, I didn't measure. I literally, you guys, to make a tincture, what my teacher had taught me was, like, I took this huge bush of blue vervain, shoved it in the jar, like the jar was packed. And she's like, no, you should pack the jar. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I still have to put the vodka, the liquor in there. And she's like, no, really pack it in. So the whole, long story short, my blue vervain is like super strength. I think that's why it knocked my friend out. Because like I said, he's a hardcore case, hardcore case, but it really helped him sleep. And he also noticed, yeah, like the mind, the thinking, the like racing mind. So I'm having a little bit of it, and it's not like, yeah, I think you're supposed to have it like, during the day as well, just to kind of get your mind like this, like, it's not this thing like sleeping pills where it's like, psh, it's more like, okay, you're calm. Okay, you can go to sleep. So blue vervain is one of the herbs mentioned in my course in Chakra Soul Alchemy. And we have it under the third eye. So do try it. Yeah, give that a try. And you can buy it on Amazon, many different places, herbal store, and so on. So yeah, I'm going to take any questions. And again, I'd love to see those of you who are not in the course. I'd love to see you inside. It is an online course, but it also has 4 live sessions with me. I do 2 chakras each live. And that is enough. Believe me, women are really relaxed, feel fantastic. I teach the points. So I make sure that you know where the points are, that you can find them. So I teach that, the potent points, and I usually do a meditation in there, as well as take any questions, any concerns, and so on. So it isn't just a course where you're left alone. If you choose the premium or the certification level, you have the lives with me. The certification, which is like what, as I said, 4 women are getting ready to graduate, including Gigi, including Empress Exalted. You have to do some other things. You have to keep a journal that shows me you're actually taking in the information and coming up with your own insights. You're doing the practices. So a journal, You have to do a 5 to 7 page paper or project to show how you might include the chakras in your work. And so this is perfect for those of you watching this who are like, if you're a yoga teacher like me, or a massage therapist like me, any sort of healer or therapist, if you want to just really dive deep into the chakras with guidance and step by step, this is great. Consider getting certification. So I would love to see you inside. Yeah. Hello. Wait, hello's helps anxiety? I would think so as well. Yeah, because the friend, I think, definitely is an anxious person. So yeah, try it. Like I said, I tried it with chamomile. Chamomile is very, very safe. I mean, unless you have, is it like a ragweed allergy or something? Because it's a flower, it's a daisy. But obviously, I mean, I have it like it's sold not even as an herbal, it's just chamomile tea. So I put it within the chamomile tea. But check with your doctor if you have any condition or you're not sure about any herb. Check with someone licensed to dispense advice about that. But yeah, chamomile tea you can drink, and as I said, I put the blue vervain in it. Oh, what does? Helps to settle the stomach and depression. Which one does? Blue vervain does as well? That I didn't know, that it helps with the stomach. There are other things I would take more for the stomach. Herbs typically, and that's why herbs are wonderful, they have a sort of a multitude. They don't tend to just do one thing. There are other things I would take that might be more for digestion and stomach. But it may have that as like a secondary effect. I think that would be wonderful. Yeah. I would say even more anxiety, more than depression, the blue vervain, more calming the mind. It's for the overactive, busy mind, which is all of us right now, right? So any questions about the course, about working with chakras? Oh, I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah. Sure. And it's important, yeah, to, where the information is coming from, because remember, anybody can write anything now. That's part of the problem with the internet. And we're seeing that in society. That's like a side comment, but because anyone can write anything. But yeah, I do believe there are structures within the brain that, and I don't know that they're active in everyone, where you might be able to, as you're mentioning, like the magnetite. I had heard that as well. I don't spend a lot of my time doing a lot of online reading because, as I said, I think it's important to limit. There's so much to learn. And actually right now I'm focused on the course and also on studying language, doing my readings, and doing my work. So yeah, I don't necessarily spend a lot of time doing additional reading. Any questions from Instagram? The text is really hard to read, but if you have a question about the chakras, I know I was really focused on YouTube, so it looked like I wasn't paying attention to you guys. I'm sorry, Instagram. So yeah, so Chakra Soul Alchemy is open and in registration now. If you go to my website, In the Flow of Magic, because I believe we can live our lives in the flow of magic, and that being the divine, being spirit guiding us. So right on the homepage, you'll see it. And as I said, there are 3 options. There's self-study, where you go through the course on your own. There's premium, where you get the live sessions with me, as well as the 8 lessons over 10 weeks. And with that, you're able to come to lives like for the whole year. I'll send out the invite. So each time I do the live, it's slightly different. So that's also fine. Like I've been doing that. And the certification, as I said, is if you're a healer, light worker, and you want to really deeply heal yourself, right? Heal thyself before, to help you build your clientele, build your business, and grow a bigger business in the world. Then that course would be great for you. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to look and see if there's one. I see a new comment. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great question. Let me just take something down. Yeah, Shanaz. Yeah. I have a lot of videos on my channel, so check some of those out. Yes, that's exactly what it's for. It's for self-development, which is why I just said, like, if you, for example, we're doing the certification level, you're trying to be a healer, be a therapist, and you're doing it, but we have to be really strong energetically to do anything we want in the world. Whether you want to be a great mom and raise a family, right? You need a certain amount of energy and strength and self-esteem and self-love. It's almost like it's hard to describe it, but your energy needs to be strong. So yes, it's first about self. Oh, my potatoes, I got to take them out of the oven. It smells really good. It's about self-help, self-growth, and then yes, how you're able to affect your family, your business, your work. Really, as I said I think 2 times ago, anyone who does has an impact in the world, their Shakti, their Kundalini energy is awakened. Okay, I feel like I should say more about that. So guys, let me, I'm going to take my sweet potatoes out of the oven. I'll be right back. It'll literally be 30 seconds. Okay. Let's see. Yes. Smells so good. So yeah, anyone who becomes well known at some level, their Shakti, their prana, the Kundalini energy is awakened and at a high level. Like that's just like an esoteric fact. So for example, yeah, let me give you some examples. So a lot of celebrities, they might have a very activated sacral and third chakra. So the sacral chakra and the third have a lot to do with our charisma. And so think about a lot of pop stars, right? Or any kind of music star, whether it's heavy metal or whatever, or hip hop. People like screaming at them, right? Like, oh my God, they're like so excited. Their sacral chakra, which is that sexual chakra, that magnetism chakra, is awakened and like quite strong. And that's probably like where they kind of live, as I was saying, and the third chakra is the ambition, right? And drive and self-esteem. So again, think about like, singers who become successful, how driven they are. Like think of a Beyonce. I'm going to use Beyonce as an example. Like to me, when I see Beyonce, I mean, you hear about her legendary, let's be honest, her legendary work ethic. Like I forgot what she was doing. What was that she did? Like the halftime, and that she started practicing, I think it was more than 8 months. But when I read what she did, I was like, oh my God. So that level of just ambition and drive, that's the third chakra, right? And the charisma and the appeal that you have is that sacral chakra, as well as others, right? And also when I think of Beyonce, I actually think of someone, as from what I've seen, and I've thought about making videos like this, but I thought it'd be cheesy. But from what I've seen up to this point, also has a very strong root chakra. Like you think about her strong relationship, especially originally she had with her father for, at least till she got to a certain point. And also her mother, she seems to have a strong root chakra, strong sacral, strong third chakra, obviously throat, right? She's singing. So what I'm saying is the chakras are in anyone that you see having success. It has to do with the fact that their Shakti, the life force in them is very active and awakened, and the energy is like awakened and active. So yeah. So, let me know what you think about that, because I know you probably haven't thought about it in those ways. And so let's go back to the fact that many pop stars, celebrities, right? It's like, it's a charisma they have. And isn't it interesting, again, that so many stars have abuse issues, drug abuse issues? Remember, those of you who watched the one that I did, hi Instagram, where I talked about how addictions are linked to that sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra is just very much about pleasure. And it can get imbalanced where that's really, it like drives the person, because that's kind of where they live. That's the energy that's the energy they're in. And so whether that's drug abuse, sex abuse, where there's just like excessive. So you see how it's interesting. A person becomes very famous, and then there are certain things that are almost their downfall. But it's linked because it's like the two are sort of linked together. So like when I look at someone like Beyonce, as I said, up to this point, it seems like from the outside that her chakras, she's like energetically, she's balanced in a lot of ways, and that almost explain her success, right? Seems like strong family ties, sacral chakra definitely happening, right? Her whole presentation is very sexy, incredible ambition, third chakra. My sense also with her, I know I skipped the heart, but my sense is that she is a very caring person. I saw an interview, and I mean, of course you can fake this, but there was something she said, I'm trying to remember. And I think she was quite young at the time and talking about how she wants to help people, and she's just like not sure how to do it, whether it's going to be a foundation or whatever. So yeah, it's just interesting. You can kind of analyze people by their chakras, and just know, again, what I'm saying is that when you have things like you're afraid to take action, that's the third chakra. And so if you're in the course, okay. Do you want to say more? Yeah, I mean, she's also very tapped into the zeitgeist, is what I would say. She also knows, I mean, obviously it's not just marketing, but I think she is a deeply spiritual person. That's my personal opinion. I think she has excellent karma. I think there's also karma at play. And as well as just her energy. It's the same way this is going to be like a weird example, but back to Prince. You guys, if you, because I'm kind of looking at my generation, if you go back to Prince's Super Bowl concert, okay, yeah. And she works that into her art as well. She's doing that more and more, it seems like. But if you go back to like Prince's Super Bowl concert, I could just feel the energy he was giving off was like crazy. During that concert, you guys, and I know this might bore some of you, that's fine. But we're talking about the chakras and how when a person's chi or kundalini energy is flowing, they will tend to be someone in the public life because they're just like shining. I'm trying to say, it was a downpour. It was like pelts of rain, and he was just on fire, right? Look up that performance, Prince Super Bowl performance, and he did Purple Rain. That's most of the videos just focus on Purple Rain. And so, yeah, like that talent that it's like it has to come out of the person, like, and again, throat chakra, right? So it's just really fascinating. So my last plea to you, if you really want to break through, start doing what you're here to do, whether that's to be a spiritual teacher, a healer, educator, therapist, working with the chakras is a really, really powerful way to do that. And it's for your spiritual growth. And yes, like the root chakra connects with the ancestors. So yes, as well with Beyonce, she just seems like, of course there's the dazzle in the front, but my sense is that she's a balanced, like spiritual person. So yeah, that's why she came to mind. I don't actually follow her so much, again, because I don't spend a lot of time. I find if I spend a lot of time, hi Bevlin, reading about, and this can happen, I absolutely, no shade, if I start to like read too much about celebrities, then I'm like, what am I doing with my life? So that's why when I say I don't really keep track of a lot of folks, but I mentioned Beyonce because just those reasons, as I was saying, with her chakras. And I think she's a good example of someone whose energy is just vibrant and there for her success. Yeah, Jasmine, I started, listen, yes, girl, I did one on, I'm blocking her name because really did not like how that went down. Harry and Meghan. I did one video analyzing Meghan And I was like, because it's like almost like a gossip channel thing. And I was like, no, that's not what I do on my channel, right? But I was fascinated. So I have one video and I wanted to do that. Like I said, just like I was talking about Beyonce and my perception of her from this sort of spiritual lens and the chakras and the subtle energy. Yeah, I mean, just even go back, think of James Brown, think of Elvis, like, what, because the whole thing with Elvis has left the building. I was watching a while ago something about Elvis, and he definitely, his sacral chakra was just out of control. Someone like James Brown. They showed one little scene of him of Elvis where he was quite young, but he'd become famous and women were just screaming at him. And you could see that he was literally like, you could see his expression was like, this is crazy. And what it is like he had really tapped into that sacral chakra. Think of like, yeah, the Beatles, but any group where, you see men or women just like falling over, like, in an ecstasy, right? So the person is really, really active in a particular chakra. And of course, like I said, that can have negatives because then, the whole fame thing can be a trap for them, right? Often these people have a lot of talent that they're expressing through the throat chakra. But then they just get imbalanced, is all I'm going to say. I mean, fame and all of the seductions of fame. Yeah. So Trista, go over to my website. Yes, Michael Jackson. I should do something about this. You guys, that's actually a really good idea. I will do it. It feels a little gossipy, and I don't want to do negative gossip. Seriously. There's one woman on YouTube. There's multiple women on YouTube, and she specifically focuses on gossip in the Black community. And I'm sorry, I just was like, I don't want to do that because it was very negative. It was very, very negative, and that's just not my vibe. And like, what's the point, right? And she's already doing it. But yes, I do like the idea of maybe just looking at some celebrities. I think those videos would do well. But yeah, if you're interested in the course, yeah, absolutely head on over to my website, which is intheflowofmagic.com. And right on the front page, you'll see it. And as I said, it's not just a course, it has a live component. But yeah, Michael Jackson, thank you. Like, I mean, I grew up, you guys, with Michael Jackson from like when he was little, and he's this little kid with the big afro and like dancing and spinning and, yeah, just a blazing energy. Even as a small child, he was obviously just like, wow, a genius. But then you get into different things. And as I said, even whatever you believe he was actually into in terms of relationships, there was definitely issues there, right? So yeah. And it can be that one chakra is like really, really strong and dominates the person. And it's not that the chakra dominates, it's almost like think of it as like that's their personality. So maybe with a Michael Jackson, there is, this incredible throat chakra expression, right? Just amazing, but also the sacral. And maybe some of that led him into other things where he wasn't able to either get help if he needed help or so on. So anyway, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And then, like I said, just when you're famous and rich, then that just opens up almost too much choice for most humans, right? It's just too much. Like, you could have anything you want, and I don't think that's good to give that to humans. So we just want the tea on the energies. Yeah. So I think actually the Michael Jackson story is really sad because I reluctantly had to admit, I know there are people who are just like, no, he never would harm a child. But yeah, when you watch certain things, you can then see the behavior in a different light. And I think it was almost something, I'm just going to say, hidden in plain sight. That's what, I felt like hidden in plain sight with Michael Jackson, actually brilliantly. If you just watch a couple of them and you just open your mind to like, could this be possible? it seems like a lot of the actions that looked very innocent were in fact almost a grooming process. That's all I'm going to say. Just remember the word grooming. And I have to say, back in the day, nobody even thought about grooming. But when you look back at certain things in that light, you can see that, was this really a childlike part of the person, or was it part of a grooming process because this is what they were really up to? And I ended up kind of feeling like, yeah, that's what they were up to. And it was really sad. That was really sad. Oh, yeah. No, Lenny Kravitz is all in the sacral chakra. Yes. Yes. Lenny is just, he's just like sex appeal very, very strongly. Yeah, I know. I love Lenny Kravitz. I don't actually know his music, but I just think he's so sexy and cute. I don't really buy much music. It's so funny, you guys. I know this is going to be random, but oh gosh, what's her name? It's a song called "Ride the Dragon" by oh god, Twigs. What's that singer's name? Something Twigs. TKG Twig. I don't know, guys, but I really did kind of like that song. You probably wouldn't think I would like her. What I like is how she's really eccentric and creative. So there, right? Somebody who's like living in their creativity. I get very much sacral chakra and throat chakra with her. She dances, she sings, FKA Twigs. I really liked her new song. It's called Ride the Dragon. Don't watch the video. Did not like the video very much. Felt they could have done much better. But I liked the song. I heard it on like iTunes or something. Because I don't listen to much contemporary music. Yeah, he's very spiritual. I get that as well. Well, he was married to Lisa Bonet, so don't, start me on Lisa Bonet and her trajectory and on her man, the men in her life. Yes. Yeah, that would be interesting. Maybe I'll try. It would be like chakra gossip or something. I don't know. It would be fun. I'm just not sure. Like, should I put that on my channel? But I know. No, not Frank Twigs. FK. Okay, somebody help me out. FKA. I think it's FKA Twigs. She's just super creative. It's just reminded me a little bit of myself when I was younger. I wasn't into music and stuff, but I went to a very famous high school. I went to Music and Art High School, which was, and for those of you who remember Fame, the old series, the movie, that was that high school. So very creative. And that's also why when Prince first came out and Purple Rain, just that kind of creativity and eccentricity. So I think it's FKA Twigs. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Jasmine says, to season food. I wouldn't use it to season food. No. I would take it in a tea or take it in a tincture. Yeah, I wouldn't use that to season food. I think, Jasmine, that's a great question. And I touched on this in a video, and I know people are like, yeah, what's the big deal? Chai is a digestive. I think many of us, especially those of us who may have weight issues, digestive issues, bloating, gas, chai. Yeah, the spell check. Celebrity. Thank you. No, I like that. Celebrity. See, now you even gave me a name. Romanticist, philosophical. No, this is. I have to write that down though because I won't remember. Yeah. So take the blue vervain in a tea, or just in a little water. Honestly, that's what I do. I put in a little water, throw it back. But I want to write that down. Celebrity chakra. Oh gosh, that would be so much fun for me. You see how I'm laughing? I'm like, that would be so much fun. That would be so much fun. I may start doing that. Okay. I use chai as, and if you're not taking caffeine, goddesses. So what is chai typically made of? Typically, but if, apparently every Indian family has like their own little tweak, but it's basically cinnamon, ginger, right? So right there, cinnamon, ginger, fennel, sometimes star anise, you can put bay in it. You can actually put bay leaf, clove, very little cloves. Cloves so strong. Those are like digestives. They just help you from being gassy. They help digest your food. So that's when you the goddess who was asking about herbs on food, I would, think about using chai, especially in the winter, just to help stimulate your digestion and your circulation, and even thus a little bit your immune system. Spices, spices do help us digest food in general. So having some spices on your food is part of what helps to digest them. And again, it seems like a little thing, but yeah, tincture. I would just do tincture. Yeah, put it under your tongue. That type of herb is for tincture. Other kitchen herbs, of course, put them on your food. Guys, I was briefly, now you got me just chatting. I was briefly macrobiotic, actually not so briefly. And the one problem I found with macrobiotics, one of the problems was there's not a lot of use of herbs, and herbs help the food and the breakdown of the food, and they have subtle, micronutrients. So that was my issue with macrobiotics. That was one of them, other than your friends hate you because they're not macrobiotic. You're welcome, Jasmine. And Rose, what are you agreeing to? Trista, I agree. Oh, okay, you're agreeing with Trista. Okay, what are you agreeing with Trista on? Yeah. Oh, I would, yeah. I mean, but they're clearly, India Irie and Erykah Badu. I mean, they're obviously very spiritual. So what am I going to say? You know what I mean? No, seriously. Yeah, I very much admire India Irie and Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu is up to some interesting things. Isn't she like a doula? You guys, Erykah Badu is like, you can hire her as like a doula, or your like pregnancy is, I don't know. I was like, really? And I mean, there was this beautiful article, I think it was Vanity Fair, you guys, where okay, see, now but this is all positive. This isn't, she has a guy who walks around just burning incense around her house. I was like, oh my God, that's so fabulous. Me, I think I don't need to hire I could just stick the incense in a holder, but I believe the article said that she has like her butler or like her assistant just walks around, with the incense throughout her place. And I think she was in Texas, which I also found interesting. So yeah, Erykah Badu is just really fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Yeah, she is a doula. Okay. So I was like, really? So you're a superstar and a doula? That's almost the joke I always make about, because I'm Jamaican. Like, so a Jamaican would be like, I'm a doctor, and I also, I don't know, I design skateboards or something. Like this, like busy. That was one of the jokes on In Living Color way back in the day. So yes, I should do like a throwback thing and analyze the chakras of celebrities from like the 90s or something. Was the Jamaican, there was a character, she was Jamaican and she had 20 jobs. Like she's like, yeah, I'm a dentist, but I do ironing, and then she did that, and then she does something else. And it was just hilarious because she had like 10 jobs. And I'm like, no, that's actually true. Like you're required to have 10 jobs if you're from the islands. So yeah, I love that she's a doula. That is so funny and so wonderful. Like, but I mean, how much does she cost? I just feel like to hire Erykah Badu would be like, I don't even know. I don't know how much she would charge for something like that. So yeah, FKA, thank you, FKA Twigs. Her song Ride the Dragon, it was just something about the beat and the energy. I really didn't like the video. I don't like how they're styling her. I don't know if that's her, or you guys know how a lot of times this is one of the problems with celebrities. When you become a celebrity and you're a product, the handlers will be like, no, you have to look this way, and this is the type of music you do, and they basically kind of shape you into not you. I don't feel that with Beyonce though. I mean, she's beyond like that in that sense where somebody outside is going to shape her. I think she shapes herself how she wants to be presented. But I don't know. I didn't like how they were presenting FKA Twigs. I didn't like I don't know. But I think it's always that urge to make them as popular as possible and to make as much money from them as possible. So that's the problem with fame, So you guys, this is the end of it, and I may do that now that I've been given the celebrity chakra reading. Wouldn't want to do cards too, though. I don't know. I'm going to think about that. Whether I would combine a reading with my intuitive reading of their chakras, whether I would do like a card reading or not. That's an idea. I'm going to think about that. So you guys have fun. Oh, Jasmine, I want to see what Jasmine's just had a comment here. Oh, okay. Yep. Saw that one. Did I miss any? Yep. We got Lenny Kravitz. We just want the tea on the energies. Yes, Trista, check out the course. If you have a question, you can send it to assistant at In the Flow of Magic. And just a little bit of a screening there process. So I can put this email up, assistant at intheflowofmagic.com. Yeah, I might do that. I really might do that. Just analyzing. Let's see. Two different coming together in a person. Oh, Montana, tell me what you mean. Are you talking about when I was saying like Erykah Badu, like I'm this, but I'm also that? Tell me, I want to know what you mean. You were talking about with your parents. I think now that's more accepted. You guys, back in the day, and I mean, and then if you go back a couple centuries, I don't know, we really have a lot of freedom now. I lived in a town years ago when I had like my depression and my breakdown when I left teaching. And my joke was like the people, like they had a PhD in physics and then they were like a carpenter. And I'm like, I met so many people like that. Like they're a violinist and they're a mathematician. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. We can do that now. Yeah. Okay. You said, yeah, totally. Let me see if I didn't miss the comment. Okay. Like people who do very different things. Yeah. It's more accepted now. For some reason, it's like, it's okay. I was just watching this dude. I just discovered him, this young Asian guy, just really earnest. I subscribe to his channel because he's just like, these are my 11 sources of income. And he was just very honest in sharing. And he literally does like graduation photography. And he is like a real estate broker. And I'm like, you're a real estate broker. And you do, and because he started in college doing the photography, right? So when you graduate, I didn't really do this, but you want to get a nice picture taken with your girlfriends or whatever. He does that. He does wedding photography. I don't think he does the weddings now because weddings can make you crazy. So that's like so strange. Real estate agent, he's actually a broker, has all these other things he does, and he still does photography. So I think there's something with the energies now, whereas humans, we're able to kind of, our right brain and our left brain, we're able to kind of express our creative side as well as our more analytical side. So I subscribed to him because I could tell he was just very honest. He was very earnest. He models. And he straight up said, when I tell people I model, they say mean things. And you guys, I thought that was like, really, does YouTube have to be that? He was a cute guy, but and then he even says, well, I'm just, a plain person model. And I just thought, that's so sweet. Like he was very, very modest because he said, his name is like Charlie Chang, which I thought was like, did he make that name up? I think his name was Charlie Chang. Check him out. He's especially like millennials and entrepreneurship, but he's just like, I started in college, just print. He's like, I'm not like a runway model, but he's like, I do print stuff because they want ordinary people. But people actually make fun of him. And I'm like, dude, you've got your 10 different sources of income. You're doing real estate. So yeah, right. Analytical, very grounded, root chakra. And yet he's up here like, I love photography, right? So someone who just, again, like balanced. And I think that's what we can all strive for. Yeah. Oh, Trista. Yeah, Trista, then you need to take this course. I think that when we're confused, really, it's about clarity. Because I was like, how can I explain this? It's clarity, getting clarity. When your energy is clear, it becomes clearer what is the next thing for you to do. I always say with clarity, just to address Trista real quick, don't try to figure out your whole life purpose. Just say to yourself, what do I love doing? Start with what's right in front of you. Trust me, I'm not the only one saying this, because I've listened to a lot of people like podcasts and stuff talking about, finding what you're here to do. What do you love to do? Start that. When you start it, you'll be like, oh, wait, I don't quite like, I thought I liked baking, but I don't want to do wedding cakes. What is it that I like about baking? I like that people are really happy. I like food. And then you kind of figure it out. So Trista, don't try to figure it out like 20 years from now, what you'll be. Just start with, what do you like right now? And what's in front of you? Usually there's an opportunity in front of you. If you take that, that will get you to the next step. And then from there, you're like, oh, I see. I could do that, or I could do that. So, that is my advice, being in the wise woman years that I am. Yes. Art and passionate work. Exactly. So you guys, I probably will have a video Thursday, and I'm often live on Sundays, not always promising. Sunday will not necessarily always be live. If you want to work with me and the chakra course isn't right for you at this time, consider becoming a channel patron for even $10. You support me continuing to make videos, and I'm going to add in a yoga class over there. And I'll do it live. Okay. Which I'm not going to do live yoga on YouTube for a lot of reasons. Like if a strap breaks, I'm not going to do that. But over for my patrons, it's just like, I'll do one class a month, because I don't want to overload people with things to watch and do. So we have Goddess Circle. We have a meeting where we get together. I give a theme. The theme for this month was calm. And when we meet live, I'm going to talk about calm, and I'm going to lead them in a practice, but I'm going to add in a yoga or meditation live. So if you become a patron, you will be able to do yoga with me live. Like I said, I'm not doing that out publicly on YouTube, because like if my cat knocks something over and I scream at the cat, so we're not going to do that. But yoga, I'll probably be also 45 minutes, at most an hour. Everybody's so busy. My patrons, I want to thank those of you who are my patrons, are very busy. I think they voted for Saturday morning. So I'm going to start. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to see if my patrons watch those videos, or, if they come live, or even if they watch the replay, then I'll keep doing it. So yeah, do consider becoming a patron of the channel, because all of the videos that you see that aren't live, like this, that are not live, the ones that are pre-recorded take me about 4 hours to make every single video, because you have to prepare, you have to set up your camera, your lights. I put a little makeup on. I got to, find something to wear. You have to plan the video, film the video, edit. And it's really the editing that takes a long time. Taking out the, you say something so that you didn't want to say, or something's not clear. So each video that you see on this channel takes at least 3 and typically 4 hours. So if you'd like to be a patron, head on over to Patreon. The patrons are what keep the channel going. They provide like a little base of income that I know is coming in. And like I said, I'll be doing live yoga over there. It'll either be yoga or like a meditation practice. And it looks like it will be on Saturday mornings. It will be once a month. So then you'll have that, because last thing, when you do yoga, you want to do the same routine at least a couple times, because what will happen is, I might teach you a back bend and you kind of feel stiff, and then you do it 2 or 3 more times and you can see the improvement. So, and there are forms of yoga like Ashtanga where you just repeat the same form. So I will have one live video, and then I'll have it recorded for my patrons, and you can use that month, and then I'll do another, again, seeing how popular it is. So this was fun for me. I got this idea of the celebrity chakra reading, which I would love to do. I have to think about it, if it makes sense. I think I would just label it, this is for entertainment purposes only, because like I said, I don't want to be a gossip channel. So it would have to either just be fun and informative, but maybe just fun and light. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go, and I hope you have a beautiful evening. Thank you, those of you who are here every time or most of the time, from the root all the way up, through all these videos. I appreciate you. And give this video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the chakras, for the woman who said, she's new to the chakras, I have playlists about. The first one that you'd want to watch is where I just go through each chakra, what it governs, like I did in this, but more, this is like why it's important. It's still a little different. What's the root chakra about? What's the bija mantra? Yada, yada, yada. And then I have for every chakra. So you could watch that and really, get an understanding. And the chakra course is open for enrollment till February 5th. And then if you're watching this much later, you can look below and you'll see when enrollment opens again, right? Because it will be ongoing, but it closes sometimes and opens sometimes. So, and get your blue vervain. Get your blue vervain if if you have any trouble with sleep or overthinking and worrying. Try that. Try it with some chamomile tea. All right? Mwah. Love you guys. Stay blissed and blessed. Bye-bye.